Hi guys, welcome back. It's Empty Box yet again, and this is the final game in the Arica Harbor Conquest match that I've been uploading, and I believe I'm going to talk about Conquest and Rush, both the basic game modes in this game, and vehicles here, just real quick. As for Conquest versus Rush, as I mentioned in the first part, I do enjoy playing Rush a little bit more. As to why I feel that way, it's a faster paced game mode. It's a lot more action-packed by its nature, with everybody, fighting over two MCOMs. Although I will say it's not exactly true to the traditional Battlefield experience, in that obviously with just 2 points and 24 or 32 people, it's kind of just a giant clusterfuck with people all like having like an orgy on the MCOM or something. But at the same time, that does kind of make it fun. But I would say it's definitely the way to go in the Bad Company games. Kind of eager to see how that works with Battlefield 3, because of course Battlefield is Conquest traditionally, and that kind of only makes sense to me. But as for Conquest, it's a great game mode. I do believe they made some tweaks to it for Bad Company 2. And that it seems a lot more now, if you die, you lose tickets for your team, which is not how I remember it ever working in Battlefield 2, where it actually was basically you hold flags, you lose less tickets, basically. Which is how I think it should work, because it makes it more fun. Although I will say I do much prefer the system that they have in Bad Company 2, where there's quite a few fewer flags as opposed to Battlefield 2, because obviously Battlefield 2 had maps with way too many flags for my taste. But I mean, I wouldn't discriminate against that if that's what Battlefield 3 ended up being, because obviously that is Battlefield. I mean, there is no denying that's the huge maps, and obviously with Battlefield Bad Company 2, they did kind of. The maps are a little bit small, and at times they are very linear, which is kind of why you can only have probably one tank per map in Rush, because obviously like something like Port Valdez or Valparaiso, it's just a funnel, which I will admit is fun at times, because it does, as I mentioned earlier, keep the action up. It's just a lot to do. I mean, it really is kind of like a... I don't want to say it this way, but kind of like a Call of Duty type pacing, or actually older Call of Duty type pacing, because I don't want to call current Call of Duty fast paced or anything. But it's just good, clean fun. But at times, you do want to play actual Battlefield and be a small man pushing the front lines. But relating to that, I'd like to mention vehicles. Of course, obviously we're playing on Arica Harbor Conquest, which has no vehicles at all. And honestly, this is probably one of my favorite Conquest maps because of that. When I was playing Battlefield 2, I usually would stick to the infantry-only servers, which I'm sure some people will be like, "Oh, but Empty Box, why are you playing only infantry-only? Infantry-only is stupid. That's all Battlefield is, tanks and jets and tanks and more jets." I just prefer being a foot soldier. I will not enjoy getting into tanks. I prefer to avoid tanks, as they are steel death traps. I mean, it's simple as that. And I'm not sure how that guy didn't die. Totally shot him with a shotgun and didn't even completely missed. 100 health. I don't know what's up with that. But going back to what I was saying, vehicles, kind of annoying, but at the same time they are part of Battlefield, and I would not trade them in for the world, even as a guy who absolutely hates vehicles and avoids them like the plague. Because, particularly like in Rush, when you have a MCOM going off and you're just fighting over the bodies, and all of a sudden a T-90 comes rolling in, firing at you, it gets you going. And that's just an experience that you can't create, and I think that is the core Battlefield experience that I think people who are going to be new to the series coming up here with Battlefield 3 obviously need to recognize Battlefield is not about, overpowered weapons and camping and sitting in a corner with your claymore down. Well, at least it shouldn't be, but I mean, tanks are there. They should stay there. Don't complain about them. Obviously, at least in Bad Company 2, the tanks are really, 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 really pathetically weak. I mean, you can pretty much hit someone with a cannon shell and they'll totally just live right through it like nothing happened. But hopefully that'll be changed, because I know in Battlefield 2 the tanks were quite powerful, as they should be, of course, as tanks. But I'm kind of interested to see how that's going to work, and right here is just horrible medicing. Don't do that, medics. Just don't. But I think that's going to be about it here. There's just 15 more seconds here or so, and get my Nemesis pin again on this guy. Just don't stand there. And of course, as you'll notice, that our team did end up losing, unfortunately, after that strong start.